Good morning. Today is Thursday, October 23rd. This is Wake Up with KERA News, and I'm Andrew Garcia. Today looks to be partly sunny. We'll have highs near 83. Widespread showers and storms will return tomorrow and continue into tomorrow night and the weekend as well. And those storms could pose a severe weather threat and also a threat of flooding, so keep an eye on your phone for weather alerts. Federal officials have called last month's deadly shooting at the Dallas ICE field office an anti-ICE attack, but local activists say the stories of the migrants who were hurt or killed in the shooting have been left out. We'll hear more from that story after the news. North Texas counties say they're double-checking whether people who are not U.S. citizens are on the voter rolls. KERA's Miranda Suarez reports this follows the Texas Secretary of State's office flagging potential non-citizens across the state.
The number of people flagged is a tiny fraction of the registered voters in Dallas, Tarrant, Collin, and Denton counties. Collin County Elections Administrator Caleb Bro says his office will review the flagged registrations and try to confirm people's citizenship.
Though it's not a big number on the face of it, I do see the importance of having well-maintained voter rolls.
Research shows examples of illegal non-citizen voting are extremely rare. Republicans have focused on the issue as President Donald Trump has made false claims about voter fraud swaying American elections. For KERA News, I'm Miranda Suarez in Fort Worth.
Another North Texas Muslim activist is facing deportation after he was detained by ICE earlier this month. KERA's Priscilla Rice reports federal officials revoked his DACA status over a social media post.
Yakub Vijandre came to the U.S. from the Philippines as a child and later got protection under Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA. But federal officials revoked his status last month and on October 7th arrested him for allegedly overstaying his visa, something his legal team denies. His friend Mohamed Ayachi says Vijandre's arrest was shocking.
Yakub is the person that I would normally call to help other people in these types of predicaments.
Attorneys with the Muslim Legal Fund of America say Vijandre is protected under DACA and are challenging the legality of his detention. For KERA News, I'm Priscilla Rice in Dallas.
In the hours and days following last month's deadly shooting at the Dallas Immigration and Customs Enforcement Field Office, government officials characterized it as an anti-ICE act of political violence. But little was said about the victims themselves. 3 detainees, 2 of whom died in the attack. KERA's Priscilla Rice reports community groups are working to make sure the names and stories of migrants are not left out of the narrative.
A week and a half after the shooting, mourners gathered outside Dallas City Hall where they placed candles in the shape of a heart and held signs bearing the names of the 2 men who were killed.
You know, tonight we are here to remember Norlan and Miguel.
Asael Alvarez is a community activist who helped organize the vigil.
In the beginning, they weren't acknowledged by the administration. You know what they acknowledged first? That they were targeting the ICE agents before the detainees, before Norlan and Miguel.
He was referring to Norlan Guzman Fuentes from El Salvador, who died in the attack early September 24th, and Miguel Ángel Garcia Hernandez from Mexico, who died almost a week later from his injuries. Federal officials are investigating the shooting as an attack on law enforcement. They say a bullet with the words anti-ICE was found on a building nearby where the suspect, Joshua Yan, carried out the attack before taking his own life.
This is the 3rd shooting in Texas directed at ICE or
The takeaway from all of this is that the rhetoric has to stop.
It is time to stop the rhetorical assault on law enforcement. Because here's what happened.
That was U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, acting Dallas ICE Field Office Director Joshua Johnson, and Vice President J.D. Vance. But there was little said about the 2 men killed, or a third, Jose Andres Bordones Molina of Venezuela, who was injured in the shooting. It took days for their names to be officially released. Immigration attorney Eric Cedillo represents Stephanie Goffney, the wife of Garcia Hernandez.
Those were the true victims of this situation, yet we heard nothing about that coming from our government. We heard nothing about the immigrants.
And that can have an impact on how those victims are perceived publicly, says Talia Stroud, a political communication professor at the University of Texas at Austin. She says leaving a voice out, in this case, migrant voices, doesn't tell you the whole story.
If a view is not even there, then there's no opportunity to learn what's happening there. And it also establishes that there is a precedent of moments when a perspective is just completely missing from media coverage.
The shooting came at a time when anti-immigrant rhetoric has been rising, and not just under the Trump administration. Immigration attorney Kate Lincoln Goldfinch says it's been getting worse in recent years.
We have allowed the conversation to be louder on the other end, the anti-immigrant side, where the president on his campaign convinced a lot of people in this country that immigrants are bad and dangerous and the worst of the worst. And a lot of people bought that.
That's why she and other immigrant advocates held vigils for Garcia Hernandez and Fuentes to remember their names and share their stories.
I think that we come together a lot and we talk about protests and marches and the cause for immigrants in general, which is part of the topic today. But we can't forget that 3 men died in this attack.
Tony Rodriguez is a leader of the socialist activist group, the Brown Berets.
They just paint us as illegals or criminals, but these are fathers, these are sons. Many American children are being left behind right now, so the true story isn't even being told right now.
Rodriguez says he wants the truth to be told about the shooting's victims, and that this story isn't just about an attack on ICE, but about an attack on his community. For KERA News, I'm Priscilla Rice in Dallas.
The Dallas Mavericks lost their season opener against the San Antonio Spurs at home last night with a pretty rough showing, 125-92. Star rookie Cooper Flagg only had 10 points, but it was his first game, so we'll give him some grace, maybe, and some time to grow. The Mavs' offense should also improve over the year, especially once Kyrie Irving returns later this year, but their defense gave up 40 points to French star Victor Wembanyama, so they'll also need to shore up that end of the floor as well. Ballet North enters the shadows of 18th century New York with its production of Sleepy Hollow. The ballet, inspired by Washington Irving's iconic tale, combines suspenseful choreography, atmospheric design, and a chilling score to transport you to the village of Tarrytown, where the infamous Headless Horseman awaits. To see details and more arts events, head to the Go See DFW calendar at keranews.org/calendar. Thanks so much for listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. For more news in your inbox, visit kera.org/wakeup. That's where you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter. You'll get a more in-depth look into the news with plenty of good morning vibes. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at KERATX. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.